What's up, YouTube? This is Bison X89, guys. Today I'm coming to my latest Speed Duel deck profile for August 2021. And today, guys, we're going to be looking at my updated Skull Serpent Speed Duel deck. Now, Skull Serpent has been in the Speed Duel format ever since they were introduced in the Arena of Lost Souls booster set, released way back in the beginning of 2019. And I can tell you right now, this deck has always been kind of a favorite of mine. Pairing it with deck destruction skill like viral infection to just allow you to rip apart your opponent's deck while loading your graveyard with cards. And now that we have Foolish Burial from the Speed Duel Battle City box, we can do this even faster, which means we can get really powerful King of Skull Serpents onto the field. And with the deck destruction capabilities that this deck has, yeah, it's going to spell a zombie apocalypse for your opponent. So, without further ado, we're jumping right into this one. Let's start off with the 3 copies of King of the Skull Serpents. This card counts as Skull Serpent while it's in the graveyard. Always good. This card also gains 1,000 attack points for every Skull Serpent monster that's in your graveyard, including itself, which means you get 1 copy on the field with your graveyard loaded with all the other Skull Serpents. You have a 5k beat stick on board. Not even the Blue Eyes Ultimate can get over that. I can tell you that right now. If this card is ever destroyed, it's in the graveyard, you can banish a Skull Serpent card from the graveyard, special summon back to the field. Very awesome. You got the recurring theme of the zombies, and I can tell you right now, it's definitely worthwhile. And you can't run a Skull Serpent deck without the OG Skull Serpent, so you got to run 3 of the vanilla Skull Serpents. Typically, we're getting these cards into the graveyard ASAP to basically power boost our kings. Sometimes it's good to be the king. And next up, we got 3 copies of Goblin Zombie. Whenever Goblin Zombie inflicts battle damage to your opponent has to send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. So you have deck destruction right there. Great. If this card's ever destroyed by battle sent to the graveyard, you get to search your deck for a zombie monster with 1,500 or less defense and add it to your hand. And that's pretty much every zombie in this deck. Next up, we got 1 copy of Vampire Lord. Vampire Lord, also another awesome card, and when it inflicts battle damage, you get to call a monster, spell, or trap, and your opponent's got to send 1 card of the selected type from their deck to their graveyard. That little extra deck destruction can come in very handy, especially nowadays with trap planets being very small. You can weaken your opponent just by calling traps right away. So yes, definitely a worthwhile card. And the last zombie monster, while it's not a dark, it is very important because we have 1 copy of Zombina. Zombina, if she's ever destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower zombie monster from your graveyard back onto the field. So she can actually get your king back onto the field, and you don't have to worry about having to banish your Skull Serpents to bring back a king. That's it for the monster lineup. On to the spells. Zombies apparently like to do a lot of reading, and we got 2 copies of Book of Life. Read the Book of Life, you get to special summon a zombie monster back from your graveyard. And then if your opponent has monsters in your graveyard, you can banish one of those monsters as well. Next up, we got 2 copies of Book of Moon. You read the Book of Moon, you flip one of your opponent's monsters, or any monster on the field face down. Great for stopping continuous effects, knocking off equip spells. Very good. Next up, and the real piece de resistance to this deck is the 3 copies of Foolish Burial. Yes, Foolish Burial is in Speed Duel format, and it's not even limited, which means we can just turbo out Skull Serpents into the graveyard and just power boost our kings to heck. And last but not least, we do run a couple of traps, and the 2 traps I run are 2 copies of Adhesion Trap Hole. Basically, anytime your opponent summons a monster, you can activate this trap, and half that monster's attack. Makes it great for basically being able to swing over some tough monsters. So, that's it for the main deck. 20 cards, For the skill card, we are running Viral Infection. Viral Infection, when you activate the skill, you can actually send any number of cards from your hand to the graveyard and declare either monster, spell, or trap, and your opponent then has to send an equal number of cards of the declare type to their graveyard. So this is just an amazing card, just that will synergize really well with the overall strategy of this deck. And not only does it synergize with its effect, the name also synergizes because, let's face it, the zombie only spreads through viral infections. So, yeah, it makes sense to have the viral infection skill as the key skill. And let's face it, Smug Kaiba is always the best Kaiba. And this is definitely a deck that I think he would like to play if he didn't have his boys. Alright, that's it for my updated Skull Serpent Speed Duel deck profile for August 2021. Guys, I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Enable notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Check out the description box below. Find the invite link to my Discord server. Join the conversation. We'd love to have you. Check out my affiliates, tcgplayer.com, as well as sidedeckversus.com. Great resources for any Yu-Gi-Oh player. Follow me on social media, and guys, until next time, peace!